Tonight on Week 4 of the Fox 14 Press Box, the Joplin Eagles hit the road to face Nixa, with the winner taking over sole possession of the top spot in the COC. The Lamar Tigers aim to bounce back from their first loss of the season at home against East Newton. Liberal welcomes in the Jasper Eagles for an 8-man rivalry game. In Kansas, Parsons hosts Baxter Springs in a battle of two undefeated teams. The Girard Trojans try to stay perfect on the road against CNC rival Frontenac. Old SEK rivals meet in Fort Scott, with the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons heading north to face the Tigers. And in Oklahoma, Commerce returns from a bye week to face Holbert, while Quapaw tries to stay undefeated on the road against Colcord. This is the four states' only 30-minute high school football highlights show. This is Week 4 of the Fox 14 Press Box, and it starts right now.
Fox 14's Press Box is sponsored by Missouri Southern State University, Roper Kia, CDL Electric, and Kramer's Quality Meats of Grove.
Welcome in, everybody, to Week 4 of Press Box here on Fox 14. Fox 14 Sports Director Jacob Leonard. Here beside me, like every Friday night, is Danny Terzer.
We're going to start in Southwest Missouri tonight with a battle of two undefeated teams in the COC. The Joplin Eagles hit the road tonight to face Nixa.
Now, both teams are 4-0, and I'm not saying tonight's game is for the COC championship, but really, the winner of this one definitely in the driver's seat for the league title. Enough talking about it. Let's get to it. Joplin down early, trying to get back in it. Hobbs Gooch finds Terrence Gibson for the 31-yard touchdown. Eagles, though, trail by 7 with a minute left in the first half. To the third quarter now, 3rd and 6. Gooch connects with Davin Thomas. 14-yard score. At that point, it's just a one-score ball game, 35-28 Nixa. Later, Gooch making a beautiful pass to Whit Hafer for the touchdown. Joplin rallies, just not enough tonight. Nixa stays perfect and wins 49-35. The Webb City Cardinals at Ozark tonight, looking for a bounce-back week after last week's loss to Joplin. Webb City season-high 55 points tonight, winning 55-40. Cardinals are back home next week, facing the Willard Tigers. The Carthage Tigers return home tonight, hosting the Neosho Wildcats.
Carthage rebounded from their first loss, going on the road and beating Carl Junction 48-12 last week. The Tigers are 3-1 coming into the night. On the other side, Neosho sits at 2-2. The Tigers drew blood first. Luke Gall gets in the end zone, but it's called back. One short play later, he scores for real this time, 7-0 Tigers. The Wildcats have a quick response. Running back Jared Seiler takes the handoff, breaks a tackle. He's going all the way to the end zone for the Cats' only score of the night. The rest of this one is all Tigers. Gall battles in once again, makes it 21-7 Carthage. End of the second quarter. Nice handoff to wide receiver Jadison Davis-Maxey. He finds the end zone for another Tiger touchdown. Carthage rolls by Neosho 47-7.
The Carl Junction Bulldogs in the Springfield area tonight facing Branson. Both teams 1-3 coming into the night. Good night for Carl Junction on both sides of the ball. They win 32-7. The Bulldogs return home next week for a tough one, hosting the Nixa Eagles.
The Seneca Indians coming off one of the biggest wins in program history over top-ranked Lamar. On the road tonight against Monette, the Indians roll by the Cubs 55-20. Seneca is now 5-0 on the year and will be on the road against Reed Spring next Friday.
How about the McDonald County Mustangs? Huge win last week, topping undefeated Nevada 27-26. This week, they're on the road against Cassville. McDonald County, another nice win, beating the Wildcats 21-14. The Mustangs are back home next week with a huge Big 8 matchup against Lamar. The Baxter Springs Lions have been one of the best stories of the year so far. They snapped a 25-game losing streak in their season opener, and they are 3-0 for the first time since 1996.
The Lions have a tough test tonight, hitting the road to face the Parsons Vikings. Parsons is also undefeated coming into the night, averaging 45 points per game in their 3 wins. First play of the game, Jamarion Washington takes it right down the middle, rips off a 64-yard run for the touchdown. Just seconds into the first quarter, Parsons gets the ball right back, and they go back to Washington. He gets in for his second touchdown of the night. He finishes with 3 in total. Still in the first, passing game starts to get going. Trey Mack hits J.J. Kendrick for 6. Parsons extends their lead 20-0 now. Vikings defense is all over the Lions as well. Peyton Gaines chased far back into his own end, finally gets the pass off, but it's right into the hands of Marion Ryan, and Parsons will turn the interception into points. Second quarter now, Mack finds Jesse Jones on the outside. Look at him spin off the defender here, fights his way into the end zone, and Parsons dominates from start to finish, 61-8 the final. The Girard Trojans are once again off to a hot start this fall.
Girard is 3-0 in their first 3 games after a 41-20 win over Galena last week. Now tonight, Trojans hit the road for a CNC rivalry game against Frontenac. The Raiders are 2-1 in their first 3 games. Late second quarter, Luke Nigaman gives to Adam Shireman. He's in for the score. At that point, it's the Trojans leading 14-0. Now Girard looking for some more right before halftime, but Wyatt Frazier gets the interception for the Raiders. Frontenac keeps it a 14-point game at the break. Then second half, Girard pulls away. Third quarter here, pair of short touchdowns. First, it's Alex Kester crossing the goal line. Then Christian Taylor does the same. It's 28-0 Girard going to the fourth. The Trojans defense, great all night. They force a fumble inside the 5 here. Ethan Brooks recovers in the end zone for 6. Girard gets the shutout and gets to 4-0, beating Frontenac 35-0. The Chanute Blue Comets, they're A-block material all year long. Comets on the road against Ulysses tonight. It's like a 5+, maybe 6-hour bus ride. It's a long ways. Anyway, Chanute goes on the road, wins 40-8 to get to 4-0 on the season. Blue Comets will be on the road against Independence next week. Well, that brings us to our first break here on Press Box. When we come back, an old SEK rivalry game between Pittsburgh and Fort Scott, and the Galena Bulldogs host CNC rival Columbus.
And a little bit later, the Lamar Tigers aim to bounce back from their first loss of the season at home against East Newton. We'll have those highlights and more next. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons picked up their first 2 wins of the season last week, beating Labette County 28-20. It was also the team's first win under head coach Josh Latimer. Tonight, another old SEK rivalry game for Pittsburgh on the road against Fort Scott. Both teams are 1-2 coming into the night. Webb Fern looks to pass it off. He connects with Bo Pastor. Pastor breaks away from the secondary. He's in for the first touchdown of the night. Second quarter now, Fern takes the snap, runs past all the defenders, and he's into the end zone. 14-0 Pittsburgh. Now after halftime, Cal Cousins looks to pass, gets some pressure though, he throws it up, and Maverick Caswell snags it out of the air. Caswell takes it all the way for a pick 6. Pittsburgh rolls over Fort Scott 34-8. Field Kinley, one of the biggest surprises of the year so far, sitting at 3-0 coming into the week. They try to stay perfect at home against SEK rival Independence. Field Kinley gets it done, winning 42-13. They'll be on the road next Friday facing Wamego.
By their standards, both Galena and Columbus are off to a bit of a slow start this year. Through 3 weeks, the Titans and Bulldogs are both 1-2 overall. Now, the 2 teams meet tonight in Galena. One of them going to get back on track and get back to 500. Second quarter, Zane Turner, big hole into the end zone for the score. With a 2-point conversion, we're tied at 14. Now Turner again pushes his way in for another score. Galena has their first lead of the night. To the third quarter now, more from the home team. Tyler Little taking the direct snap, keeps it himself. He is in for the touchdown. Galena starting to pull away. It is 30-14. Columbus quarterback Brett Hamilton trying to keep the Titans in it. QB sneak there. It's a mess, but he's in. Not enough though. Galena gets by Columbus tonight, 36-22.
All right, Jacob, I'll spare you here and say this one since Yates Center is your hometown.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Well, the Yates Center Wildcats supposed to be on the road tonight against Oswego, aiming for their first win, but instead, Yates Center has to forfeit tonight due to many injuries and lack of players available. Oswego officially gets the win. They're now 3-1 to begin the season.
Now, thanks for taking care of that. Yates Center is my hometown, so I always want to mention them in the show, but sometimes it's not good. Another note on that game, by the way, it was a district game, so Oswego gets all 21 district points available for this week. And unfortunately for Yates Center, I've been told that tonight's forfeit, because it was a district game, means they will not be eligible for playoff contention, so tough break tonight for Yates Center. The Colgan Panthers are 2-1 to begin the season. Last week, they picked up a dominant Thursday night win over Riverton, 54-14. This week, another home game for the Panthers. They're trying to stay hot against district rival Southeast. Southeast 3rd and long on their first possession. Kyson Bennett there for the stop for Colgan. Lancers forced a punt. Now on that punt, Tucker Harrell receives it, fakes the reverse. Faked me out too with the camera, but here he comes down the sideline. Nobody's in front of him. Jogs in for the touchdown. 7-0 Panthers. Now next Southeast drive, Colgan defense in the backfield again. Connor Van Beesler drags him down for the 3-yard loss. We get another punt. Van Beesler fields the punt this time, going down the far sideline. Now it looked like he was going to make it all the way, but he's ruled down at the 2. No worries though. Cooper Simmons next play punches in the short touchdown. That gets the lead to double digits. It's all Colgan tonight. Final score 50-6. Big one tonight for the Humboldt Cubs. They're 3-0 on the road against district rival Council Grove, a team that's also 3-0. Tonight, Humboldt suffers their first loss, 20-14. The Cubs return home next week, hosting the Eureka Tornadoes.
Coming up after the break, the Lamar Tigers host East Newton, looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season, plus a rivalry game between the Liberal Bulldogs and the Jasper Eagles. First, though, check out a few more scores out of Southeast Kansas. The Lamar Tigers suffered their first loss of the season last week, falling on the road to Big 8 rival Seneca 36-33. Tonight, the Tigers return home trying to get back on track against East Newton. The Patriots have struggled in their first month of the season, going 0-4 in their first 4 games. Homecoming night in Lamar, King and Queen being announced before the game. Lamar with the ball first, starting strong. Austin Wilkerson taking the handoff from Joel Beshore. He's off down the sideline, 66-yard touchdown. Tigers up 7-0 very early on in this one. Lamar forces the Patriots to punt, so next possession, Tigers punch it in again from the 11. 14-0 Lamar. Once again, nothing going for East Newton. Lamar here again. It's Wilkerson running all over the Patriots tonight. 56 yards, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game yet. 21-0 Tigers at that point. Lamar rolls to the easy win, 56-6 the final. Staying in the Big 8, the Nevada Tigers hit the road to Mount Vernon tonight. The Tigers suffered their first loss of the season last week, 27-26 to McDonald County. Tonight, Nevada gets back on track, 36-23. They'll be back home next week, hosting Cassville.
Well, the Jasper Eagles made the move to 8-man football back in 2020, and with that move, got a chance to reignite their rivalry with the Liberal Bulldogs. Since then, they played twice, splitting a pair of games in Jasper. This year, 2 teams meet in Liberal. Bulldogs are 3-1. Jasper enters the night at 2-2. Picking it up in the second, Liberal up 22-16. Peyton Morrow with the carry. Taking it through the Jasper defense to pay dirt. He would also convert the 2-point conversion. It's 30-22 Bulldogs. Jasper now on offense. Deep in Liberal territory, Quentin Winans calls his own number, gets to the 11. Couple plays later, Winans fumbles the snap, recovers nicely, gets around the defense. 30-22 Bulldogs. Now Liberal would take back the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown, making it 36-22 midway through the second. Then just before half, Jasper with the ball. Botch snap, Liberal recovers. Luke Bott with a nice fake. He would end up fumbling as well. Chase Ray ends up with the ball. Finally punches that one in. Wild play there. 42-22 Liberal at half. Bulldogs hang on in this one. 54-36 the final tonight. We still got a lot to get to here on Press Box. When we come back, we're going to Oklahoma with highlights out of Commerce and Fairland. Plus, going to get a chance to vote for this week's Performance of the Week. As we go to break, though, here are a few more scores from tonight's action in Southwest Missouri. Welcome back to our final segment here tonight on Press Box. We're heading to Oklahoma now, and we're going to start with the Commerce Tigers.
Commerce is 1-2 so far this season. The Tigers had the week off last week after picking up a shutout win over Oklahoma Union in Week 3. Tonight, Commerce hits the field against Holbert, aiming for back-to-back wins. Commerce starts the third quarter out 21-0. Austin Lake connects with Joey Olson. Nathan Disler is waiting, no touchdown. That's all right though. Lake looking for an opening. He passes to Olson again. This time he gets in for the score, 31-0 Tigers. Holbert with the ball now. Gabe Armstrong runs through the center. Landon Brenner knocks the ball out. Keelan White, not expecting that one. Ethan Ellis passes to Ethan Reese. He's in for the touchdown, and look at that. Kick is good. 37-7 Riders. In the end, Commerce showed up for this one, though. 43-14 Tigers. Miami War Dogs, fresh off their bye week, host the Cushing Tigers tonight. Miami falls in this one 54-13. The War Dogs are now 2-2 and will be on the road against McLean next week.
How about the Quapaw Wildcats? They're 3-0 this season after beating Northeast last week. Trying to stay perfect tonight at Colcord. Quapaw, though, suffers their first loss 35-13. Wildcats return home next Friday, hosting Commerce. Going to Fairland now, the Owls 2-1 this fall, hosting the Wyandotte Bears. First quarter, Owls offense slowly moving downfield. Tyler Webster first down, then Webster up the middle, finds his way into the end zone. PAT's good, so it's 7-0 Owls. Bears ball now. Talon Wyrick looking for Isaiah Wallen, but defense comes up with the play here. It is intercepted by Carson Schertz. He'll run it down to the 20-yard line. Now soon after that, Boone Perriman cuts to the far end of the field for another touchdown for Fairland. At that point, it's 14-0 Owls. In the end, Fairland goes on to win this one 28-12.
We've got a couple more things to get to before we go. First, it's time for our nominees for the Performance of the Week.
We do this right here at the end of every show on Friday. We give you 3 options for the Performance of the Week. You go vote on it. Then Monday, we'll announce the winner. Now, here are the nominees this week. First, Parsons Vikings beat Baxter Springs to get to 4-0. It's only the second time they've done that since 1990. Then Liberal, 54-36 win over their big rivals, the Jasper Eagles. Finally, Seneca running back Jackson Mars, 5 touchdowns tonight against Monette. And to vote on this, all you got to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, click on who you want to vote for. That's it. It really is that simple. We'll keep the poll open until 9 p.m. on Sunday night.
Finally, here's a look at tomorrow's local college football schedule. First up, Pittsburgh State Gorillas hit the road to Emporia State tomorrow afternoon. The Gorillas are 3-0 and have climbed the national rankings up to number 14 this week. That one starts at 1 o'clock. Then at 7, the Missouri Southern Lions make the long trip to Hays, Kansas to face Fort Hays State. The Lions know despite the Tigers' 1-2 record, they'll have to be prepared and play well if they want to pick up their 3rd straight win in Hays.
too many times we put too much stock in a record. But if you remember right, they were 1-2 last year coming to town, and they beat us up. This is a team that's getting better every week. It's a team, when you look at their two deep, it's filled with sophomores and redshirt freshmen, and that tells me that they're going to get better every week, because you got a coach over there that won the league in 17 or 18. So they didn't forget how to coach. They didn't forget how to win games, and so we'll have a good opponent.
That is all of our time here tonight. If you missed anything, we're going to have our highlights posted on the sports page on the website shortly. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. You can also check out a complete replay of the show on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on the 4 States CW.
For now, though, we got to get out of here. Thanks for staying up late with us. We'll see you right back here next Friday.
Tucker Hill.